Hi everyone, Maria here, and welcome to Season 1 of ggutt.talks, WGUTT, a podcast focusing on business and tech for good, experience design, and gut feelings. I also want to ask you a little bit about the transformational points in your life. What influenced you, and what was this aha moment when you said, right, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm going to do, and you decided, did you trust your gut in that sense as well? And actually, this is the moment.
So the transformational points in my life that I, clearly remember as aha moments that were career defining for me. One was I was working in IT training, and it literally was an elevator pitch. I bumped into the then permanent secretary of education in the elevator of a building. And his name is Dr. Bitangen Demo, and a real visionary and forward thinker in the ICT space in Kenya. And one of the people who I think really enabled Kenya to be what it is on the map today, like that bright, shining spot of innovation and technology. And I met him in the elevator, and I don't remember what sparked the conversation, but I remember him saying, and he pulled out of his bag a little tablet, and it was that 7-inch Akash tablet that India was selling for quote unquote, I think $35. And they said, this is the education tablet that's going to revolutionize India. And he said, I've just come back from India and I've seen this tablet, and wouldn't it be great if someone were to put the Kenyan curriculum onto a tablet like this, so Kenyan students could also learn in the same way. And I thought, yeah, that sounds really easy. And so it was right around the time when almost a perfect storm was brewing in Nairobi. The iHub had just been founded, and I had just met Eric Hirschman, and I spent some time in the iHub after work. I would go there, hang out, play foosball, make friends. I met my co-founder, who I started talking to about this idea of eLimu. And she said, yeah, let's do it. And she had a full-time job. I had a full-time job. And we built eLimu, which was, just this hodgepodge software platform that didn't work very well to begin with. And we populated it with lessons. And we met a textbook publisher, and we said, can we copy paste from your textbook? And we don't have very much money, but we want the rights and royalty to be able to do that. And he worked out a great deal with us. And he was the only textbook publisher who allowed us to do that. And we literally took his revision textbooks for Kenyan primary school students, and we copy pasted them into small little bite-sized chunks. And we said, let's add a video here. Let's add an infographic here. Let's add a song here. Let's make every little lesson, however small and bite-sized it is, let's make it fun, engaging, and memorable for our students. So that's how eLimu started. And I think that meeting with Professor Bitangen Demo was a real turning point and a real aha moment for me. Because when I went back to him 9 months later and said, hey, do you remember asking me this question? Well, we've done it now. And he was such a great supporter of the work that we did.
Cool. So that was this aha moment. So you went with your gut. Do you also go with your gut when you make other decisions? Because we're going to jump in just after that into some of the work on the ground that you're doing. But what's your relationship with your gut feeling?
So fast forward 10 years now, where I've sold eLimu since then. And I'm leading a business that at the beginning of last year had 100 employees. And, thinking through very different challenges, very different problems, very different business and regulatory and partnership and stakeholder problems. And for me, gut means almost this connection between the past and the present. So when you're in the present and you're thinking about something really stupid you did in the past, that feeling is called regret, right? And you're like, oh, I really shouldn't have spoken to that boy, or I shouldn't have said this, or I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done this, or, whatever you call it, that feeling is regret. And you almost feel it in the same place as you feel this gut feeling, either like in the pit of your stomach. And so my theory is that when you're having that feeling, that the past you is also having it. Like you do feel this, you do feel something in the pit of your stomach that is a gut instinct. And maybe it's your future self who's feeling regret and telling you, don't do it. And so when I do feel some fear, like not, it doesn't mean every time you feel butterflies in your stomach, it means you're going to regret that. But it does make me stop and say, let me close my eyes really tight and think about future me. Will she hate me for doing this? And if so, why not? And then from there, I kind of go to a very rational pros and cons way of thinking about something. But my gut is generally go. Like, yes, it's not wait, stop, think. It's yes, go faster now. Try it. And so there are a few moments where I think, is there a future version of Nivi who is speaking to me right now, telling me not to make this decision? And that's what I think of as gut, and how I like to think about it.
Cool. I like the way you broke it down. So we spoke about, why you're doing what you're doing and how you got started in doing this meaningful work. And this is what got you started, but it's linked to many things like infrastructure, access to information, travel, cultural differences. So there are many parts to it. So what did you learn so far? Maybe there's a story you can share about, how did anything go wrong, maybe, that moved you forward?
So there are two more kind of transformational moments that really defined this journey. And so after building eLimu and building a beautiful product, testing it, seeing the results of it, and Marie and I quitting our full-time jobs, working on it and giving it our all, there were a few other meetings when we would go to sell and go to schools and show them the product, and they'd say, oh yes, this is great. I can see why students improve their grades. I can see why literacy improves. But we don't have a computer lab here. We don't have laptops or tablets or smartphones. We don't even have electricity or connectivity. And so that was, those kind of conversations ended up being another aha moment to me, which is we can build all the EdTech, all the FinTech, all the agri-tech, all the e-health and e-government services. But if we don't have power and connectivity, we are not participating in this 21st century economy. We're nowhere near where the rest of the world is. And so we've got to deal with this infrastructure wall that we keep banging against. And so that was a really transformational moment for me. And again, serendipity with BRCK working on infrastructure and transformation in the space. We're in the same building, friends with Eric and the founders of BRCK, and thinking about that problem. And then the other part of the serendipity was the president of Kenya, who wanted to, at that time, deliver on his campaign promise of 1 laptop per child. Him meeting BRCK and saying, hey, you guys do hardware. Can you build me an education solution? And so they reached out to me. They know that this is the education person in the building. What can we do together?